I'm coming into the park today from the Cherrywood entrance. So this is called the Oil Mills, or some people call it Kavanagh's Mills. And it's been derelict now for 30 years. And there's been a mill here for hundreds of years, but this one dates from the 19th century. There were people living here until the 1990s. The Kavanagh family lived here for many years. There was a well around here. It's shown in some of the old maps. And then we walk down towards the Corkagh, walking along the side of the old mills. Walking straight down that way, you cross the Fonthill Road and then more park, but from there on it's called Clondalkin Park, and you can walk on down there. It'll bring you as far as the community centre and along the banks of the Corkagh. It's a very interesting walk. And this is one of the entrances to the oil mills, and it's used now by Clondalkin Global Garden. And they just use this beautiful space to grow vegetables, I think, maybe flowers. It's absolutely lovely. Now, on this bridge over the Corkagh, this bridge is pretty new. I'm not sure, maybe 15 years old or so, but anyway, it's comparatively new. It replaced an older bridge that was a few decades old. And then just over there, in the distance, though you can't see it here, there's the remains of the original bridge, which I think was called Kavanagh's Bridge. I was right with my guess. It says there 2015. And there's the Corkagh. We're walking along these fields now. We're at the side of the oil mills and the Global Garden. And they're used for sports. And of course the Corkagh runs more or less alongside this hedgerow on the inside. Corkagh rises just southwest, I think, of Saggart, and it flows through Corkagh Park, on through Clondalkin, and eventually it flows into the sea, into the Liffey, I should say, around Houston Station. There's the other allotments, and a number of people from Clondalkin, from local, have their allotments here. A beautiful space. Just coming back now, though we could go on the way on up there, and that would leave us out towards the lakes. But this is an original road down from, I suppose, the entrance to Corkagh House, and this would be where oil mill workers would come along this road in the morning. This was the original, well, one of the entrances to the oil mills. There's St. John's Wood Car Park. And you can see here it says Oil Mill. And I think that must have been a step. Maybe climb across the wall if the gate was shut. That was a bungalow. I think it was for park rangers. Looks like it might have been built in the 1970s. It's now empty. And this path here actually follows an old path that would bring you up towards Corkagh House when that was still standing. And if you're coming, we'll say, from Clondalkin village, this is the way the horse and carriages might have come if they weren't coming down from the main entrance on the Nace Road. So the avenue would have ran along there, along here, following that path, and then it would have turned in towards Corkagh House. But we're going to go up towards the back of the playground and along what's sometimes called the back avenue or the back lane. The playground is just in that way, and then we first see this in maps around 1830, and this was the road or the path that employees took, tradespeople, people working on the farm or in the house. And then during the middle of the 20th century, a dairies was established here at Corkagh that was called Clondalkin Dairies, and of course we would have seen their vans coming up and down with milk for the local shops. There's a ghost story associated with the lane. In 1916 I should say, Easter 1916, word came that there was some sort of a rebellion taking place in the city centre. Everybody was on high alert, and then they heard the sound of a marching band, and it seemed to be coming up the avenue. So the staff, the family, they all ran into the house, took cover in the house, and waited for a little while. Nothing happened. And when they went out, of course, there was no marching band to be seen. Nobody could ever explain why they'd heard this. At various times of the year, there's always something to see along the avenue. In spring, of course, we have snowdrops and then bluebells, and then around May time, the hedgerows are awash with cow parsley with its creamy, feathery little flowers. And in the hedgerow you'll find wild garlic, ramsons and three-cornered garlic. Coming up now to the top of the lane, and you can see the estate buildings there now in front of us. So that's where all the business of the estate took place. The horses were watered and fed, and hay was stacked there. So a very busy spot. Nowadays, what were formerly the estate buildings of Corkagh House are now a council depot, so not just providing services for the park but also for the roads, etc. In and around Clondalkin. Most of these buildings date, well, they're at least 200 years old, so the 19th century. But the first record, actual record of a building around in this particular area is about 1650, 1660. So there would have been farm outhouses, farm buildings, etc. associated with it. So yes, there have been buildings here for 300 years at least, if not more. And of course, as I said, they were very busy. When the dairy was being run, all the milking was done in this field here. And they had one of the first milking machines in Ireland, I think, in this area. You can kind of see the ages of the buildings there. One of those central stables, which you can just see in the background there, is ruinous. The roof has obviously gone off it. But many of the buildings are still used. In 1960, an extremely bad billionaire called John Galvin bought the Corkagh estate from the Finlay Colley family, and he established a sort of one of the first riding schools in Ireland here, and also a stud where he bred and trained horses for equestrian sports. The famous Mackin family were involved, and he also because his daughter had been involved in the American equestrian Olympic team in the early 60s, some of the horses from that time, they were retired here at Corkagh. So they actually wrote about that in some of the American papers. So at that point in time, of course, it would have been very busy, the stabling for horses.